Yes, guys, after this point, it's going to be recorded. So just in case, guys, one more time, I'm just reminding that you don't have to watch the videos because all activities are on the PLTW. So I will just record it just in case if you need it later on. I will be posting on the Schoology. And yes, let me dive in and we have something new. But do not forget, guys, Unit 3 is all about network and we are learning the Linux. And in these activities that we had a 3.1.1 last week, today we have a 3.1.2. So that is kind of the, we are just keep continuing that and we are keep building on that. On the 3.1, we learned a lot. So how to make a comment on the Linux, guys. But please, 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 I don't know how you're going to memorize it or what is your learning style is. But if you want, guys, just take a sticky notes or just put them somewhere else because those kind of comments we are going to use a lot. So for example, do you remember that we have a list, we have the CD, we had cat, we had how to move the file, how to delete the file, how to rename the files. And for example, today's activities that we are going to have, we will not go and teach that one, but we will ask you to use those commands in today's activities. Yes, by the time you will get used to, I do understand that if you feel that, do I need to memorize all of them? Unfortunately, yes. And the same time is no. So by practicing, you guys, you will get used to. It's not that much complicated. So it's not kind of you are learning new programming language. It's not a Python. It's not a Java. So but we need to use some commands. Okay, let me just go ahead. I will share my screen and let's see what we have for today. Perfect. So just to make sure, guys, do you see my screen and do you hear me? Just a couple thumbs ups that I want to make sure that everything is okay. Any thumbs up that, oh, okay, perfect. I see some of you. Okay, that is amazing. Perfect. So right now we are doing the activity 3.1.2, access control. That is one of the most common the features on in the cybersecurity field that we have a different files, we have a different folders, we have some information that I want to share with everybody. I have some information that I need to send to somebody only, or I have a file that only I am a person who is going to have access to it. So we have a different types of access. Before diving to the Linux, let me just remind you it's a simple from the Google Drive. So I have my simple Google Drive. So what I can do is I can create my new, I can create my new folder. Let me call it test. So that is my task. And if I do not want to show to somebody, I will just keep it as it is. I can put whatever I need to inside. So I'm a person who has a full right. By saying full right, what I can read, I can write on it, I can delete, or I can execute. By the way, and we are going to talk about execute stuffs later just in a second. But what if you want to share with somebody? What you usually do is you will go and say the share here. On the share, we have a different options. So right now I can say that, hey, do I need to share with a specific group? So for here it says with the Triangle Math and Science Academy only, or to share to the public, to everybody. So I have a different sharing styles. And also I can say that what they need to do. So it says view, comment, and editor, and so on and so. That is the language from the Google, and we are using GUI. You see, we just clicking that, we just tapping that, we just changing some settings. But in the Linux, it's a little bit different. And also in the Windows, it's a little bit different. So whenever you share, they have some kind of commands and you are giving some access to the people that you want to share with. Okay, that is one of the issues. So let me just keep going and let's see what we have for today. So in the Linux, they have a little bit different terms, but overall it's the same. I mean, the idea is the same, the functions are same, but the only thing is the language or the terms that Linux is using is a little bit different. So imagine that we have a folder, imagine that we have a file, and that file has some classes. So we have an owner that is a person who is making that file. We have a group, so you can share with the specific people. It can be 2 people, it can be 10 people, it can be like 1,000 people. So we have a limited, or we can say others, so everybody can has access to that. So that is open to everybody. Okay, so we have 3 different types of groups. And also we have a permission level, so they can read. So for example, you are sharing with somebody and you will say that, hey, you can just read it. You can just see what is inside. You can make some modifications. I mean, if you are coding guys, what you can say that I will send my codes, you can write on it. You can make it some delete, or you can just make some modifications, or you can say that, hey, you can execute it. So here is an execute. I would just want to stop a little bit, because that maybe there will be a little bit confusion. What is executing itself? So by saying execute, what would mean? So executing, it's all about that whenever you run something. So imagine that you have a file. Whenever you double click, so that file is doing something for you. And by saying doing, let me just illustrate it here, and we will discuss just in a second. Okay, perfect. So I have my, by the way, where's my pen? So let's imagine I have a file. You can imagine that is just a Python code. You can imagine that is just a Java code, or you can just imagine that it's just a folder. And so whatever it is, so we have the file name, and imagine that I'm working on my Windows environment. Okay, and we are talking about executing files. So usually whenever we work in the Windows, and if I have my executing file, so I have my file name .exe. I'm pretty sure, guys, you already kind of seen what is going on, like seen these kind of extensions. And also we have a different file types. So if I have a file and file types, like in different file types, if you see the name of the file and if you see a txt, that means we have a text file. So if I go open inside, I can see some text only. I cannot listen any music in the txt. I cannot see the pictures. I cannot see the videos, and so on and so on. But if you see a file name, it can be ABC or whatever. So we can see the doc. The doc is almost same like in TXT, but the doc has a more visual stuff. It can have some graphics and lines and some pictures inside, but mostly it's for the Microsoft Wording stuff. So if you see some file name and if you see the JPEG, and what is the JPEG stands for? Sometimes they say JPEG like that one, or we have a JPEG like this one. So that is just a picture. Whatever I executed, you see, so right now I'm again using the word executing. So that means it is going to run my picture and it will show up on my screen. So that is execute. So if you have the file name and it says MP3, so that means I can just visually see that it's a sound, it's a music, it's just coming for the sound. Or if you see the MP4 or MV4, so that is all about video. So we call it the different file types. And also, let me go back to the executive file. So what is the executive file? So imagine that I have my file and I have a .exe. That means if I double click on my file, whatever is inside the file, it is going to run. So do you remember that if you Python learner, if you Java learner, if you JavaScript learner, so whenever you click, so let me just draw it here. Imagine that you have a couple lines of codes and you will go ahead and click on the run button. So your program is going to read every single line one by one, start from the beginning. So that we call executing something. And also in the Windows, we have executing. So that window say that, hey, inside that file, inside that folder, by the way, inside the folder, let's get used to the directory. So directory is more professional. It's more like a technical word. So, but there is no difference between folder and directory. But just let's get used to the directory. So in that directory, I have a different files. Maybe I have my picture. So let me call it that JPEG. Maybe I have some MP3. Okay, MP3. So whatever I have inside. So as long as I click on my file, it is going to run and execute every single line for me. Okay, so that we call the executing file. So if you are a Mac user, if you are a Mac guy, so you have a file name and it says DMG. I pretty hope, guys, if you're using Mac and you saw that before, and if you want to install any application on your computer or any software on your computer, so what you usually do is you just double click on that link which says that name with the DMG. So you will see the progress bar. It says that the software is going to be installed on your machine. Basically, behind the scenes, what is going to happens that they have a lot of lines of codes and they are doing some operation for you. Okay, so that we call in executor. So what about in the Linux? In the Linux, we have a file name, and that is sh. I'm not sure what is the sh stands for, but if you see this sh, just try to understand that this executable file. Okay, but again, guys, here is a misunderstanding that mostly we understand that executing file is all about to install something. Yes, installation is a part of executing file, but it doesn't have to be installation. So executing is all about to run all files that we have in that folder, in that directory. It can be one text only. That's fine. So for example, let me just give one more example, and we will dive to the real to the exercises. Imagine that I have a test.sh. That is my executive, and inside I have, let me call it welcome. Oops, I'm so bad in handwriting. txt. You see, so whenever I'm going to execute my file, it is going to go ahead and run this. So that will open this text and I will see what is inside the text. That's it. You see, I'm not installing anything. I'm just executing my file, and that directory has only one file. Okay, perfect. So we did it, and we have understanding what is the executive file is. Let me just go ahead and we'll see. So, and we have some matrices before diving to the activities. This is important, guys. We need to understand what is going on here. And just in a second, we are going to analyze different files in the Linux. And this chart is important, guys. So right now you will see 9 different cells, and it says RWX, RWX, RWX. The first 3, it shows you what the owner has a permission, but usually it always RWX, because the person who made a file, the person who made a folder, he has a right to write it, to read it, to write it, and execute it. I cannot say that I made a file, but I'm denying myself to read it. It doesn't make sense. So this is usually it. But if you want to share with somebody and you are giving some permission, so you will say that, hey, this group of people, they can read and they can write and also they can execute it. And if you open your file publicly to everybody, they also can read, write, and execute. And we will analyze just in a second in which cases it's not executable, which cases it's not readable. We will dive just in a second. So we have a 9 cells, actually not 9, we have a 10 cells. So we will see the permission line with the 10 cells. So we already know, let me get my pen one more time. So we already discussed what about these 9, and we have a D or just a dash here. So D stands for that is a directory. And do you remember directory is just a folder? So whenever you see the folder, it's a directory. And if it's just a file, that is has that dash. I mean, maybe that is a picture, that is a text, that is a sound, that is a video, so whatever. So it's only single file, and that is the folder. Okay, just keep in mind. Perfect. So right now we are going to dive to the activity lab 312. I already did it here. So we are going to the connections, guys. I'm not sure, guys, in these activities, if you had a chance to look around, we have some different stuffs going on. We already learned what is the Wireshark. That was last term, and we have some other filing. So don't worry, guys, we are going to learn them one by one. So I'm going to the connections, guys. Right now I have my 3 different links, and we are going to work with the alpha. And so what is the alpha? Let me just remind one more time. I believe I received one email saying that, hey, I'm confused. So what is the path is, how it's going to go like from one machine to another machine. So let me just remind it one more time. Whenever you see the internet, that is you. That is you sitting at home. So I'm sitting at home. So let me just call it, it's me. Okay. And from here, from my personal computer, currently I'm using a Mac. I'm connecting to my local machine, login machine. And so what is my login machine? That is my login machine. So I see the windows on my Mac machine. You see? So Mac is my personal computer, and that is the login machine. And after that, we have a PLTW server. So that is a server. And in these activities, we are learning the Linux. So do you remember, guys, in the beginning of the first term, I was telling that the server, it doesn't have to be a Windows server. So it can be a Linux server. It can be something else. Unfortunately, the Mac and Apple, they are not producing the servers yet, because Apple is mostly focused on the clients. I mean, like on the users. But in the back, yes, the number one is a Windows and the Linux as well. So that is the Linux. And also, guys, do you remember that in the first term we learned that whenever we connect from our local machine to the login machine, and from the login machine we used to log into the Windows server, and we used the GUI. So visually we saw all of them. So we use the GUI, we make some clicks, we just run that. But here in the Linux, from our login machine, we are going to use the command only. So using that command, we are going to log into our Linux machine. And you might ask that, hey, can we log into the Linux machine with the GUI? Do you remember the GUI stands for the graphic user interface? And the answer is yes, of course you can do it. But the goal of this course, the goal of this unit is to how to use the command to log into my PLTW Linux machine without those fancy, colorful graphic designs. Okay, so just keep in mind that. So time to time, I will tell you that, hey, we need to go to the PLTW machine or we need to go to the login machine. Just keep in mind what they are mean. Okay, perfect. So now, do you remember, guys? Let me just go to the alpha. It is running. You see how fast it is. You see, guys, so you don't have to wait those 3 minutes when it is going to boot my machine. So that is the biggest advantage, the biggest plus for to use the command lines. Okay, perfect. So, and let me just, I wish we had something bigger. I'm not sure if you're using a small device or big device, if you see that. So let me get my pen. And one more time, I believe that, guys, we did discuss it last time. So the meaning of that one, you see, guys, I have an alpha. That means it's a user. So in this case, I am. So my user or my name is alpha. And the PLTW is the machine name. It's a server name, as we did over here. You see, that is the PLTW. So that is the name of that server. Perfect. So right now, let me get from here. And I will say that, really, it's frozen again. Please don't do it to me. Do I need to zoom out? I don't like it. Oh, yes. Okay, perfect. So guys, do you remember that in the Linux, how to see what is inside? It's basically ls. It stands for list. So if I type ls, it's not typing. Oh, yes, it's typed. So if I click it, I can see what is inside. So I have a couple different folders. It's a document, it's a executable, it says items, music, and so on and so on. So those blue colors, they indicates that that is directories. And in parentheses, that is the folder. And also I have one file, which is welcome.txt. Okay, so let me go to the executables file. So do you remember that in order to go inside to the directory or inside to the folder, I need to type cd, which stands for change directory. And I will say executable. By the way, guys, if you're confused how to spell execute, if you write the 3 letters and after that, if you click the tab, it will just help you. So you don't have to type all of them one by one. Just give couple, 2 or 3 characters that in the beginning, press the tab and it will go inside. Perfect. Come on, it's too late, guys, you see. So I'm typing and it's showing up after a couple of seconds. So That's fine. So right now I'm alpha user. I'm on my PLTW machine, and I am on executable folder. Let me just clear it. I will type clear, so I have a clear stuff. Now I will list what is inside. So ls and babam. Perfect. Did you notice something different, guys? So right now I have some green names. We used to get used to the blue one, to the white one. Now I have a green. So I have a message sh, I have a question exe, I have a quote of the day, and it doesn't say what is the file type, and I have a trust me txt. Okay. Do you remember, guys, we were talking about sh stands for executable file for Linux. So I can go ahead and execute it on the Linux. But exe it's for the Windows. That means I cannot execute it here on the Linux machine. But I just have that file. I just keep it here. So whoever needs it, I will send to the Windows and execute in the Windows only. Does it make sense? Perfect. And now I have a quote of the day. It doesn't say that something, so that is a question mark. I don't know, but we are going to analyze and let's see. And after that, I had just my file. It's a trust me txt. Perfect. That is perfect. That is good. Let me just go one by one and let's see what is inside. So now we will keep learning different new commands. Yes, guys, I'm sorry to tell that, but we need to get used to, we need to understand, and we need to learn all these tools. Yes, well, of course, this PLTW is not teaching every single line, every single codes for the command, but the main one that you have here. I do advise you guys, if you have some sticky notes, if you want to put around, it will be more usable. I have a couple in front of me because you will see in the later activities, 313, 314, 32, and 33s, guys, we will use these commands again. And it's better to see if you put the sticky notes around, so it will be helpful, unless you will get used to, okay? So we have ls, and we have something new. So let me see, what does that mean? So I will type it. So I will say ls and l and oops, and message sh. Basically, what is means that, so ls, we know what is the ls. So it is going to list me. So that is going to list me something. So it is going to pop up me some information that I need to use it. And after that, I'm going to analyze the message sh, which is my executable file, and that dash L or whatever you call it. Let me just run it and let's see. Oh, it gives me some information. Let me just zoom in. I'm crossing my fingers it will not stop, because yesterday night when I was working on that, it was keep freezing, but that's fine. So let's go and analyze it. Oh, I see some 9 digits over here. Do you remember that? And I have a 10 digits. So do you remember the first one? It stands for that is the file. It's not the directory. Okay, perfect. I have RWX. That means the person, the owner, he has all rights. Perfect. What about second tree? So it's a group of people. They have access, but they can read only and they can execute only, but they cannot make a modification, which makes sense. So that means, let's imagine that you have installation file. Imagine that you have a program and you want to send to somebody to install in his on her computer. And you will say that, hey, you can read my file, or if you want, you can execute it, but I will not let you to change my file. So that means, you see the W is not here. That means that person cannot make a modification. And last three, we have this dash, dash, dash. That means if that file is open to everybody, they cannot do anything. They cannot read it, they cannot write it, and they cannot execute it. Perfect. So let me see, we have alpha and alpha. What does it mean? So the first name, like in the first alpha, it says that it was done by alpha. So that is the person who made it. Okay, so that is first. The second one, it shows that what is the group name. Okay, so, and they also call it alpha. So as a default, if you do not change the group name, it will be same name as the owner name. Yes, guys, I know it's a too much for you, but I'm trying to make it clear and short. So that is my owner name who made that file, and that is the group name. And that is a 28. It shows in kilobytes what is the size of the file, and the rest of them it shows when it was done and what is itself. Yes, you can ask that. Hey, it's too much information. It's much more easy in the Windows, because if I go to the Windows, let's imagine that file. What I can do is I will just go to the properties and it will show me details here. So that is a 486 kilobytes. It was done by somebody, so on and so on. You see, so that is the GUI. That is a graphical representation of the file. But right now we are learning in the comments. Okay, perfect. So I do hope, guys, you are now comfortable about reading this information, because we need them just in a second. We have a different scenarios, and the PLTW is going to give a couple of, I believe, 2 or 3 different cases, and we are going to go and analyze them, and let's see what is going on. Perfect. Now here is a difference. Now it says that here, what is the difference between this line of code and that line of code? Here is the same. It's almost same. Now, uh, that is my executable file. Is it right? But also in that executable file, we have a txt. By the way, in that executable folder, we have a txt file. So that means whoever is going to execute it, they are going to read that message, because that is only a file in that executable directory. Does it make sense? Okay. So right now, if you type this line of code, it will give you these lines. So let's go analyze the owner, they can read and make it execute. So the group can execute. But here, something. The question is why it's not executable. You see, I'm talking about the welcome txt. You see, it's not executable here. Oh, it's a big alarm. I am owner of this file, but why I cannot execute it? So you see, so something strange is going on. Of course, it makes sense, because that is a txt file. And you cannot execute exe file, because the exe file is not executable. I can just read it. I can see the text only. It's not installing anything for me. So that is. And that file is open to the group to read only, and open to the public to the read only, and so on and so on. I do hope, guys, you understand what is the difference between executive file and the file itself. Okay, so that is the file, and that is executable. So one more time, guys, the executable file is a combination of the different files that is going to be run. It can be one file, or it can be a couple files. Okay, so that is the difference. Perfect. Let me just keep moving. Please, what happened? Did you kick it out, me? Oh no. Okay, so I was afraid. So right now, guys, I posted already on the Scholarly of what to do, guys. So you need to write it here, okay? So in your PLTW, guys, you see the message. So the message says here, you see, so that is the message sh executable file, and that is my welcome txt file. So it says the owner can read, write, and execute. It makes sense. Owner can read, write, and execute. What the group can do, the group can read and execute, okay? And what others can do. So you need to fill out and take a snapshot of that file, of this form. Yes, guys, it will be kind of extra for you. So you need to fill out every single cell, take a snapshot, and submit it. So that is one of the tasks for today. And also analyzing here. So here it says the alpha if the owner file, that is the group. And you see that 28 stands for what is the size in bytes. And also it has the and so on and so on. Let me just keep it and so on. Now, Guys, here is a quick reminder that, do you remember that we learned the cat last time? I do hope, guys, you remember that, but let me just remind it one more time what is the cat is. So for example, if I say that if I want to see what is the path of my file is, and by saying path, what I mean, guys, so if you click, let me just go to the login files. If I click here, oops, let me go to the local disk. You see, uh, where is my disk located? It located on my PC. Under PC, we have a local disk. If I go to logs, you see, so right now it's showing me path. So where is my log located? You see, so it is on my computer. Under my computer, it's under C drive. Under C drive, I need to go to logs. After logs, I can see my files. So how we can see that in the Linux, I need to say, oops, where is my file? Yes. Well, I need to say the cat. The cat stays for, do you remember that it has a name that I cannot remember that? So, why it's not typing? Yes, now it's typing. Perfect. So I can say that cat message as age. So it is showing me. I pressed enter and wait for 2 seconds, and after that was working. Okay. So whenever I type cat message as age, it is showing me where it is located. It is located at home. Under the home, we have alpha folder, and inside that alpha folder, I have a welcome txt, which makes sense. Now, if I type the message sh only, you see, I didn't put a cat. What does it mean? That I'm going to execute it. I'm going to run it. So if I click the run, it says that, hey, you have a small text inside. Welcome to your exploit. So that is the text which is inside my welcome txt file. Yes, guys, you need to remember that we did it last week. So that is the cat command on the Linux. Perfect. So let me just move on and so on and so on and so on. File types. So we have a different types of file. Do you remember that I was telling that we have a JPEG, which stands for the picture? We have MP3, we have MP4, we have a .txt. So we have a different types of the files. And also, if you are wondering that, hey, what is the file type of the message? If I say that file message as age, it will tell me that, hey, you have a text file inside. Let me just illustrate it one more time here. So imagine that you have a file type and sh, but you are wondering what is inside. Is it going to install me something? Or is it going to run a music for me? Or is it going to show a picture for me? Because it says sh only, it's executable file. So if you type the file, and it will show you kind of what kind of type, what is the type of the file you have inside. So right now you see that I typed the file message as age, and it gives me that the ASCII stands for, I think they have a description here. You see, what is that? It's American Standard Code of Information Interchange. So that is the file type. But if I want to see all files, so I can say file and my star, and let me just click it. It gives me all information. So let me just show it here. You see, so right now I have a different types of file. I have my message, I have my trust me txt, I have my uh, question exe. You see, so it shows me what is the type of my file is, because I've specified, hey, can you show me file? And that star stands for all. Show me all file types that we have in that particular folder. Perfect. So let me just move it. So we have a .doc, and if I type file and that star, it is going to show me all of them. Perfect. And it tells me on the Windows we do the same way. So for example, imagine that I'm working in the Windows. Let me open one file here. So one folder. So in that folder, let me call it AAA. I'm just doing some tests just to show you. Come on. It's too slow today. So right now, what I want to do is I want to make a new file. So which is text file, okay? And let me call it test. It's very slow, please. Okay, let me just close it. I will. It's just extra. Do you remember that, guys? In the Windows, if you are using a Windows now, you have a file name and .txt. So in the Windows, you can right click and change this txt to doc. You can change it to the JPEG. So this file type will be changed if you change the extensions. So now let's analyze it. So we have some security scenarios. They have a couple. Let me just do the first two and we will move on. So right now, imagine that you are cybersecurity specialist and your company recognizes something is going bad and they are going to send you file, this Linux file to you, and they will ask you, hey, can you analyze? Can you see what is going on? Okay, so let's read one by one. So there is a beta user. That is the name of the person, and he is using my machine, PLTW. Okay. And do you remember that PFD last time that we had last week? So the P of the cat is almost same, but they have a small difference. So in both of them, they are showing me what is the path. So where I am located right now. So right now it says that, hey, you are located under the home. In the home is a beta. So we have a two folders, and here we have, okay, nothing wrong. So we read two lines, nothing wrong. Okay, now the beta is trying to go to my downloads. You see, he typed or she typed CD and downloads. So that person is trying to get to my downloads folder. Okay, I still didn't find something suspicious. Okay, now that person is on my downloads file and he wants to read. He wants to read who has what kind of permissions. Okay, and he says we have a total lines of different files. Uh-oh, something suspicious. Okay. So up to this point, everything was okay. But here it says that, hey, I'm expecting to see 4 files, but I see only one. Uh-oh, that means 3 of them are hidden. Okay, that is fine. So we will analyze. Now, let's see what is going on. That is the file. It's not a directory. So the person who made the file has a full right. The group can read and execute. That is important, guys. You see? So that file, imagine that we have that file, and that file is made to execute it. Okay. And also the public, they can read and execute it. Okay. So who made it? Beta made it. For whom he made it? For the beta group. And what is the size? It's 19 bytes only, which is okay. It was made on that one. Oh, it shows me only one file. It shows me only one picture here, image. But it tells me, hey, we have 4 files. We have 4 files, and they are to be executed. That, what does it mean? Let's imagine we have a person who got this file, and that person is very happy because he is seeing that picture on the screen. But behind the screen is going something else. So 3 other files is being executed silently, and they are installing a virus in your computer. Does it make sense, guys? Wow, that's perfect. So they are just giving you a fancy picture. You are seeing the picture, you are happy, but behind the picture, something is going on. So 3 other files are executed right now. So you see, so you can catch it and you can delete it. So you push the alarm button. Hey, please don't open this file. And you can send a message to everybody. You see? Perfect. So let's see the second one. Okay. The second scenario, it says that, hey, there is a beta user. He is on my download and he wants to see what is my puppy image is. Okay. And it says that it is located over here. Okay. Nothing bad so far. So the beta user is trying to see the permission see all the permission under this folder. Okay, so that is the file. Okay, so we have full control on the owner. So the group can read execute and the can read execute. Oh, who is that guy? Because I'm a beta. This is the person who is using the computer, but this file was sent by root. Oh, please don't do it. So that is alarm. That is alarm. So that root, I don't know who is the root is. He sent me this file and he sent me a picture, but he is executing me. So it's much more clear. So I can go ahead and find the root guy. So that means we will cancel this file. Is it too much for you guys? And the third one is almost same. So I will try to make a little fast because we have a couple minutes only. And hidden files. Do you remember, guys, we were talking about I can see whatever the Linux shows me, but I'm not sure. Do we have any hidden lines as we did over here, guys? So you remember we have a four different files, but it shows me only one. That means something is going bad. So how can I see them? And in order to see them, I need to type a new one, which is dash a. So I can say that. Let me just clear it, please. Doesn't let me type. Okay, I will skip it. I don't know, guys. By the way, I was in touch with the PLTW administration, this kind of thing. So we have a kind of community online, and they have a concern that time to time it's getting freezing. They are trying to work on it because it's on the cloud, and usually they say that during the day, especially at daylight. So we have a East Coast, we have a West Coast. So in this time frame, everybody is trying to log in. So if we are in the East Coast, that we are, so it's better to use early in the morning or afternoon, like late night, because the amount of the user will go down. But right now it's almost 2 p.m. So that is a high chance that everybody is trying to log in. Okay, don't worry, guys. So whenever you type ls and this dash a, so you can see every single file which is inside that list, even those lines, those files which is hidden. And you can take a snapshot and you will see some files which is called ghost because you can see them now, and so on and so on. And also encryptions. I need to show it, guys. Please don't it. Why it's doing so? It doesn't let me type in. Yes, it's typing. Perfect, guys. We are doing the last one, guys, and we will finish just in a second. So here is the point, guys. They are showing just baby steps for encryption files. Imagine that you have a file. That is the file. I have a very important information here, and I want to send from one person to another person. How can I do that? If I do not encrypt it, so imagine that is the person A, and that is the person B. Whenever this file is traveling from one location to another location, in the between there will be bad guys, and they will catch it and they will read it. So there is a different types of encryptions. We're gonna learn them, but the basic one is what I can do is I can put a password for that. So I can hide it. I will say that, hey, the password, I mean, the key for that is, let me call it AAA or BBB. So I will put the password, and the person who is going to receive it, he knows the password, he will put the password and open it. So that is the basic one. So in order to put the password, I will see the underscore C. So if I put a C, it will ask me that, hey, can you put the password, please? And if I want to decrypt it, I will say the GPG underscore score D. Let me put it here. I'm not sure if it's, please. Yes, it's showing now. So let's go inside. So I will go inside info. Let me just go out from here. So I will say ls. So you see, I have my info file. So I will say cd info. Oops, cd info. Let me clear one more time. So right now I am info. Let's see what is inside. Inside, I have my email addresses. Okay, that is something that I need to encrypt it so nobody can read it. So right now, what I can do is I need to encrypt it, and the code is a GPG and underscore dash C. So right now I will say GPG. Uh, that is the new command, guys. And please, please, one more time, guys, what you can do is put the sticky notes, put it around. So that is the code that I want to make a key. So I'm assigning a new password for that one. So that is email addresses. You see? Now it says to enter a password. So we need to give the password. Let me just call it AAA and repeat it one more time, AAA. By the way, in the Linux, whenever you type the passwords, it will not show you anything. It will accept it, but it's not showing me. So right now it says that, hey, so perfect. It was encrypted. Let me log in one more time. You see, guys, right now I have two files. One of them is just email addresses, and that was encrypted one that I'm going to send to somebody. You see, so it is usually kind of like more safe if you send this file to another person. Let me run that file first, and let me run this one, and we will see what is the difference now. If I say that email addresses, I misspelled email. Uh-oh, the permission is denied. So I'm a user. I cannot see the permission, but let me execute that email address GPG. I will say email addresses.gpg. Permission is denied, please. And so on and so on. And after that, if you want to decrypt it, what you can say that the GPG dash score D and your file name again, and it will ask you, hey, what is your password? Just put the password and you will see. By the way, why it didn't execute it? Something weird. Okay, so it's not that much important, but just keep in mind that if you want to encrypt, it's that code, like GPG underscore C. Yes, guys, I took your 50 minutes. I'm not sure if you were with me. I know I did more details, but yes, guys, that is all about the activity 3.1.2. As I told you before, guys, this unit 3 is the hardest one. I cannot say it's very complicated, it's very advanced, but the activities are long. So we need to go one by one and make sure that we understand all of them. Okay, I will take attendance just in a second, just in case if you want to leave. Any questions so far? Or do you want to say something, guys? Is it hard? Is it complicated? Or is it easy for you? Or at least, guys, do you have idea what we did last time and what we did today? Yes, I see the comment says that it's a pretty advanced. Yes, it is advanced, but this is the Linux. Why it's advanced? Because we didn't use the Linux before. If I ask the Windows, you will do it very fast because you are using Windows for a couple years now and you got used to. But the Linux, yes, that is the Linux. Okay, so and let me share one more time and then we'll show you what is the so if you go to the Schoology, on the Schoology we have a unit 3. Under unit 3 we have this assignment, and you don't have to show everything, but I just made a few steps on it. Step 3, 4, 10, and all of them. So you need to take the picture 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 only. And the step 4, do you remember that we need to fill out that form, which is in the PLTW? Take a screenshot and put it here. Okay. So I'm taking attendance now. By the way, let me stop recording.